So moved.
Second?
Greenwald?
Yes.
Stroya?
Yes.
Zarko?
Yes.
Roden?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Okay, we have some speakers here tonight, and due to the volume, again, we are going to limit the amount of time to 30 minutes here. We did something a little bit different, just knowing the people here that were to talk, so we had a for a mask mandate and against, and I'm going to go back and forth between the two. Remember, you have 5 minutes, as long as the speech is not frivolous, repetitive, or harassing. So the first one up is Sunny, and I'm sorry, I cannot read your last name. So if you could say your last name when you get up here.
Despair, my doctor's handwriting.
Ooh, that's
Had
nice.
it all my life. I appreciate it. Yeah. Are you? I've been up for a while. You okay if I just stand over here? I'm just gonna set this down. Take the mic. Yeah.
You can use the stand if you want.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I just got off nights. Must be moving already. All the chairs over here. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you this evening. I am truly sorry for all the school board members here tonight, and especially for you, Mr. Windorf. You've admirably endured the criticism, endless stress, mixed messages from politically polarized opportunists. None of you were prepared or trained for the perils and deadly nuances of protecting a country, a community from a global pandemic. It's truly unfair that you were thrust into this. I believe you all have good intentions. I believe you all have very good characters and are pure of heart. This was not the job you campaigned for, nor signed up for, nor spent the entirety of your adult life training for. Unfortunately for us right now, this is exactly what myself, my wife, my colleagues, my brave nurses, this is what we trained our entire adult life for. We're not alarmists. We have no political agenda. My Canton-born wife and I, my amazing nurses, my colleagues, we're all frequent witnesses of COVID killing the young, the old, the Democrat, the Republican, with the mercy of nothing like a torture time and time again. It's heartbreaking. We come to you as the children of teachers. My wife and I, that meant 12 years of public education in Northeast Ohio. An additional 11 years of intense medical training, plus our time volunteering outside the country, treating global pandemics, treating natural disasters. My time spent at Harvard with international colleagues, preparing for pandemics, protecting us, and preparing for biomedical attacks from terrorists. We dedicated our lives to protect you all in our community. And now 1 out of every 500 of you can't be here tonight because you are dead, and our homeland remains in great peril. Flashback to another time of great global peril. The year was 1941. Can any of the students out there tell me who was president in 1941? Thank you, FDR. And what percentage of Americans supported FDR entering World War II? Any history buffs out there? Only 22%. 88% of Americans opposed the idea of declaring war against the Axis. And thank God, Roosevelt listened to his military experts and led our great nation against the Axis and evil. And how many Americans died in World War II? 405,000. We've now lost 650,000 Americans. I report those numbers with our hospital. Those are real numbers. And who knows what declaration of crisis standards are, or rationalization of care, because it's being declared all across our country right now. It means when you have a heart attack or you're in respiratory failure, that we are out of ICU nurses, we're out of ICU beds, and you will die from a preventable death. And that happened extensively in COVID hotspots last year, and we're teetering on that occurring in our communities now, again. And now here tonight, like Roosevelt, we must ignore some emotional voices of the lay public with good intent and do what's right to protect our community, to listen to Akron Children's, to the Stark County Health Department, to the real COVID medical experts, not the fake ones that plague social media. So I'm asking the school board tonight to lead our community, our school district, our state with discipline, empathy, humbleness, and fight with us to protect all of us. Most importantly, let our children witness that wearing a mask doesn't take away any of your freedoms. It grants you more freedoms, like the freedom to protect and help one another, to open the world back up in a safe way. Yet for some reason, fighting against science and common sense has become a kind of badge of ignorant courage, a show of perverted patriotism, as if not doing the least thing you can for your community and those less fortunate wraps you in the flag. And that's just downright ridiculous and selfish and anti-American. Einstein defined insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The results are in. Masking in school stops COVID transmission to our children, to our elders, to our most vulnerable. It saves lives. Be a true American. Think of others. Think of the most vulnerable. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask indoors. Save lives. Thank you. I can take any questions from the board.
No, we're not doing questions right now. Thank you.
Okay. To the audience. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, next we have Chad Croa. And I might have said that wrong, I apologize.
Sorry, bro, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem.
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for giving us I'll just take it out. I want to thank you guys for giving us the time to come up here and speak. I think all of us appreciate it, whichever side you are, for a mask or not a mask. I just want to give you a backstory. I moved here with my family from outside of New York City about a year ago, and one of the big reasons why we left that area is to escape from restrictions, from municipalities, from school boards that some people will say work. You say it works, I can show you 5 different things that say that it don't work. The only true proven facts about masking these children is that it doesn't help their linguist skills, that it causes depression, that it slows your social skills, that it mentally, these children think that they're being chased by an invisible monster. Who wants to live their life like that? No one. I'd rather live in faith than fear. You can look at me and shake your head, that's fine. I don't look at you and shake my head, because I don't pass a judgment on you for wearing a mask. So I ask the same respect for when my kids go to school without their mask. Because this went from 14 days, we're here 18 months later, fighting about the same thing. The same person who told you that masks are going to protect you flip-flopped multiple different times. Also the same guy who we're coming to find out helped donate the money to Wuhan to create the virus. You can roll your eyes, put your hand on your head, but facts are facts. At the end of the day, if masks work, we wouldn't be in this position 18 months later. We're right back to where we started. And maybe if we had a different approach, like loving our neighbors, respecting people's personal decisions, we wouldn't have to sit here and argue with each other. But we're here, right? So let me just give you some other facts, because I respect you as a frontline worker, everything that you do. I know many people who work in the medical industry, and guess what? They dispute everything that you just said. There is no scientific proof, one way or another, whether a mask stops, prevents, or anything for COVID. You guys are wearing masks on your face right now that it says on the box it does not prevent the spread of any disease. We can go even further. People are walking around wearing masks that are made by sewing machines from grandmothers. Where's the scientific facts behind that prevents, stops, or prevents any type of COVID spread. It's not there. 18 months. He said, crazy's doing the same thing over and over again? Yes, it is crazy. It's crazy that we've had these kids in masks for 18 months. Wait until 5 years from now. We see what the side effects are. Cuts off oxygen to them, right? That can't be refuted. That's a medical fact. At the end of the day, let's start looking at each other like neighbors, right? We're all neighbors here. Can we at least agree on that, right? As a starting point, we're all neighbors. Care for each other, love each other, respect each other. If you get vaccinated or have a mask on, good for you. I'm not mad at you. Why are you mad at us for having a difference of opinion? That's what makes us Americans. At the end of the day, that's what we are, right? No? Yes. Okay. The amount of mental pressure that's put on these kids because we can't figure this out as a community is ridiculous. These kids can't even, they feel like they can't get along. It's a mask. I don't care if your kid wears a mask. I don't come to your house and take a PlayStation controller away from your kid or feed him the right food or, you know, the things that you should do. Why don't these kids go outside and get some activity instead of having to worry about, you know, masks? That building up your antibodies, being healthy, eating right, these are going to save you from COVID more than any mask will. And that's just a proven fact as well. At the end of the day, I'm moving to New York to get away from this. And I feel like I'm getting brought back into it. That's why I'm here today. I have friends that are on every side of the fence that you possibly can imagine being from New York. Thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Next we have Sean Jordan.
Guess we're doing this. Everybody hear me? Okay. So I didn't realize we were having a referendum tonight, but I'm glad we're here. And I want to thank everybody because I'm just going to stand over here too. I want to thank everybody for coming out, whether or not you agree with me or not. It's important to be involved. Now, you know, last gentleman was from New York, and the first gentleman who spoke was speaking about mobilizing for World War II. 20 years ago, I was a couple hundred yards from here when I watched an airplane crash into the World Trade Center towers in New York. Now, if you want to talk about side effects, being a teenager seeing that and the hundreds and thousands of other people who saw that, it was a thing. It lasts. And I think everyone in here would agree with that. But what we saw after September 11th, this massive attack that killed 3,000 Americans, killed 3,000 people, we came together, we worked together, and we fought a common enemy. We fought a common problem. We put in place rules. We take off our shoes when we got on airplanes because somebody tried to blow one up. But we all agreed that it was worthwhile because we saw what could happen. We saw what can happen. And that's true, that's fair. It's what we should have done. I see signs here for life and liberty, and I 110% agree with these. You know, I want my kid to have freedom, the freedom to not be sick. I want your kid to have the freedom not to be sick. Obviously, you guys, I'm trying to talk to you too. But we want to have liberty, the pursuit of happiness, which doesn't happen when you're on a ventilator. It doesn't happen when your grandparents are on a ventilator. It's not happy. Liberty, again, the freedom from those illnesses. You know, my kids were sick last week, and it took us nearly 2 days to find a test, to get a test for him. And we were lucky. We were lucky. They came back negative. They were sick but negative. That happens. Get it. We're doing it, again, for everybody's kids. Not just our kids. Our kids have fever. They're sick. We don't want to send them to school to get sick, to get your kids sick. But one of our kids, our best friends, their daughter's not that lucky. She has COVID right now. She's worse than my kids were. Bad fever, bad cough, no energy. She's in the transitional school. Okay, she's at Orchard Hill. Now there are 29 kids according to the school's dashboard, or I should say 29 people in the district. 29 people, presumably including children, that are also sick right now. Okay? And if we can stop any of those, and we can't, there is science, there is evidence. If I spit, you guys don't get wet while I'm wearing a mask. Okay? That should be self-evident. And so, when we're up here today, we should be talking about looking at things from a broader perspective. And yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? That who thought we'd be here 18 months ago? But we still are. And we can't stop. We can't give up. We gotta do the right thing, which means mobilizing ourselves together. When we fought World War II, we didn't do it for 18 months and say we got bored. When we fought the terrorists who killed people on September 11th, we didn't sit there and wait and say we got bored. We can't do the same thing. We can't walk away. I should say we should do the same thing. Excuse me, I'm wrong, and I'm mad at myself now. No, listen, we've been doing this for 18 months. We fought worse battles, but we can do it again. We can keep fighting with each other, or we can fight for each other. I'm here with this because it's going to keep me fighting with and for you on the same side.
Thank you. Tim Rosha?
Okay. Not much of a professional speaker, I'm going to try it this way. Just because I need to speak with my hands. Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to speak today, and thank you for this meeting. First, I want to say I'm not here to deny the reality of COVID. It's clearly something that we all have to worry about. I'm not here to deny the severity of COVID. We all know people that were very seriously affected, and sadly some that have died from COVID. That's not what I'm here to argue about. But I am here to say that I'm opposed to mask mandates. There's many reasons why I'm opposed to them. Many of the reasons I'm opposed are emotional reasons, but they are very hard to measure. You know, it's very hard to quantify the mental, the emotional, the cognitive, the developmental effects that our children are seeing by wearing masks. My gut and personal experience tells me that that is not a positive experience. There are negative impacts to wearing masks, but it's very hard to measure it. But what I would like to talk about is the scientific basis behind the masks. I have here this document. It's called Aerosol Filtration Efficiency of Common Fabrics Used in Respiratory Cloth Masks. I didn't just pull this out from anywhere. This last year was on the district's own website. It came from the Department of Health, the Ohio Department of Health. This document was used to state why we should be wearing masks. And unfortunately, I really don't know why that was true. If you look at the details of this report, you can see clearly that there are a lot of issues with it. At the very beginning, it says that the filtration efficiency is 80% of masks. That's for some of the best masks. That's great. Who would not want that? But when you look just 2 sentences down, they give you the bottom line that if there's gaps in your masks, that's down 60% from there. So they don't tell you that, or the people that tout the wonders of masks don't tell you that if there's gaps, you've got to take 60% down. You're down from 80% down to maybe 30%. They also don't tell you about the humidity of exhaling. After about 10 minutes of wearing the mask, just the humidity in your breath will make the masks wet, and most studies will say that if a mask is wet, it's useless. They also refer to the fact that you have to pay attention to washing. If you washed your mask just 4 times, it reduces the percentage another 20%. So you can see here that a mask that, even in this document where they're touting the efficiency, and they even go through and tell you, it starts at 94%, we're talking it's down to 37% or down to 20% if it's washed in the way that the kids normally use them. And that's not even counting the size of the particles. In their testing, they use particles from 50 nanometers all the way up to 300 nanometers. The size of the COVID particle is 100 nanometers. That means that the testing that they did was on particles that could be up to 3 times as big as COVID. And yet we're still seeing that their efficiency, when used like most of our kids wear them, are like 20%. So we've got a mask, maybe it's 20% effective on virus sizes that are 3 times the size of COVID. Again, it just shows that the masks don't work. But you don't have to take my word for it. I've got this document, like I said, it's from the Ohio Department of Health, and I outlined all the areas that they say that I've referred to that bring down the efficiency. But also, you can listen to Dr. Michael Osterholm. He was on Biden's transition team for COVID, and he put out an interview with NPR just a month ago where he stated clearly, it's an 18-minute interview, you can look at it, he stated clearly that masks don't work. This was Biden's own team. And he also said that really there's not been many things that we've done that have helped eliminate COVID. I wish I had better news on that front. We all want to feel like we're doing something to help our kids, to help our families. But unfortunately, I'm here to say, and based on this study and many more like it, masks just aren't it. So why would we want to force that on our kids? My final thought in 30 seconds, I want to make the most important thing. This school board has not told anyone that they can't wear masks. If anyone feels like they want their child to wear masks, this school board, this school fully supports it. What I am opposed to is forcing a measure that myself and many others think just don't work. Why would we force that? Got 8 seconds. Thank you.
Stephanie, is it Manvar? Okay, thank you. Mandy.
Hello, everyone. Masks work if everyone does it. Please mandate them. Our children are sick and are missing school. They need to be masked to continue school. That's all there is to it. Please mandate the masks.
Thank you. And last we have is you guys have got to write that in here. This is Brad, what's that?
That's good enough. As long as you don't call me late for dinner.
Thank you.
Randy. Hi, everybody. Thanks. A lot of people said some things that I was going to say, and I just found out about this meeting about an hour and a half ago. I have a niece that goes to, I guess, 4th grade here in the school district. So, sorry, if everyone can hear me. So I just really wanted to touch on something. A lot of people made some good points ahead of time here. But I was curious how many people in the room were aware that there is a massive global censorship campaign going on right now. Yeah. It's huge. There's a large number, so all the hands going up see it. Absolutely. This is what the problem that we face here right now. We have people that are aware of the censorship, and we have people that are unaware of the censorship. And for those of you who aren't unaware, your position is understandable, because the people that are speaking out about COVID, about the masks, and they have a differing opinion than what's being popularized in the mainstream right now have been removed from Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. And you will never find any of these arguments on Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or any of the other providers in the mainstream. There is a robust debate going on outside of these platforms about this. And thousands of good points have been made that I have yet to see rebuffed, rebuked, or debunked. So that's the main point I wanted to get across. Is anyone in the room familiar with Dr. Carrie Mullis, who invented the PCR test? Yes. Okay. Dr. Mullis said point blank that that test should never be used to detect a disease. He said it 25 years ago. Everybody that has been tested positive for COVID, it's a question mark as to what that exactly is defining. We also know Dr. Fauci even also said that, well, Dr. Mullis said that Dr. Fauci doesn't know what he's talking about in that same speech 30 years ago. And that was mainly around the AIDS topic, which I will get into tonight. But Dr. Mullis, or Dr. Fauci also admitted what Mullis had said, that if you run cycles on the PCR test to a high enough number, you can find anything and anybody. And what we know for sure is that the tests all last year were running at 35 cycles and higher. And that's exactly what you can basically find anything and anybody, according to Mullis and Fauci. So we don't really know what they're finding when they test positive. So that's an important point. One last thing I wanted to touch on. I forgot it. You got time. This gentleman here said a ton of good points. I think that the real thing that this comes down to, and I'm going to slip into the lawful legal realm here for a second, is that somebody is making a claim right now. And maximum law is he who makes the claim must provide the proof. So the claim is that there's a deadly virus going around and it's harming people and killing people. We don't see any proof yet. We have not seen definitive proof that that's happening. If we go back in time, I can go back 200 years, 150 years, and look for studies that try to find examples of human-to-human transmission of viruses or bacteria. There are none. There are no studies that demonstrate human-to-human transmission of viruses or bacteria.
Ridiculous. Okay.
I welcome.
Will you take questions from the audience?
Yeah, seriously. You need a schooling.
No, we're not going to do that.
I'd love to have an open debate with
I
you.
would love to discuss.
Yeah.
That'd be
This is
wonderful.
not what this is for. Listen, everybody's been respectful up until this time. I would appreciate you give this gentleman the same opportunity, and then we'll be done.
I'd just like to close by saying I also don't think that children are dying of this in record numbers. I really don't believe that's the case. There may be some instances, but I believe that these children have died with a positive COVID test, but they have not died of SARS-CoV-2. Thank you.
Keep going. I don't want to talk to
We
you.
do appreciate everybody coming out, and I'm sorry we don't have time to listen to everybody speak, but I'm glad we were able to hear both sides here tonight. Thank you, for the most part, for being very respectful. Mr. Pleasant.
First, we have approval of minutes. It's recommended that the minutes of the August 11th, 2021 board meeting be approved, as well as the minutes of the August 2021 board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roden?
Yes.
Stroya?
Yes.
Zarko?
Yes.
Hunt? Yes. Greenwald?
Yes.
Finance, I have two items. First, financial reports. It's recommended that the treasurer's financial reports for August 2021 be approved. And second item is it's recommended that resolution 8-3-21 be revised to include Key Bank in the list of approved depository agreements.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Greenwald?
Yes.
Hunt? Yes. Zarko?
Yes.
Roden?
Yes.
Stroya?
Yes.
Thanks for the superintendent's update. I just want to share a comment from the district. Talked to so many of you, mostly by phone, some by email. We are looking at this every day, love to focus on teaching and learning, and this has become a big part of what I do during the day. Thank goodness for our team that are still teaching kids and doing what they need to do with kids so they can learn. Can tell you that we're looking at every day at our positive cases, our quarantines from being a close contact. We're looking at hospitalizations, we're looking at total attendance rates, and so we're looking at everything in totality. Mentioned last week that when we talked about this first, that we would not be implementing a mask mandate. We highly encourage kids to wear masks. If you don't want to be removed from school as a close contact, wear a mask. We're not mandating it yet. We haven't determined that our numbers are at a point where we're going to make that determination for a variety of reasons, not just one of those indicators, all of them together, and we'll monitor it and make a decision on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. So we're still in the same decision that we were at previously, that we are highly recommending masks, and that students who are either vaccinated or masked and are determined to be a close contact, they will not be removed from school for 5 days or 7 if you get a negative test after 5. So that's where the district's at currently, and we'll continue to monitor our numbers. They're on the dashboard, and there's lots of other metrics that are behind that, but those are our numbers that we monitor on a daily basis. And went down today. Hopefully they come down further, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, but we're going to base our pieces on all of those metrics, not just one. So that's where the district is. Unfortunately, we're gonna receive comments and not do a debate here.
No, it wasn't a debate. I just have a question about the email that you sent out. Is there any way in the future to be able to separate that between students and staff that are infected? Because it's just a broad.
It's included. Anybody that's determined whether it's student or staff is a close contact will be removed for 10 days. So if there's a staff member with no mask and they're asked to be removed, and there is an essential worker piece in there that we work with staff on, that they may come back based on the essential worker piece. But again, all staff, all students, anybody in your district that aren't quarantined and aren't masked, we have to address the close contact. And there is a piece on essential workers.
Thank you.
Sure. We're going to go through the rest of the agenda on certified and classified staff and some other things. You're welcome to stay. We appreciate the nice audience for all the work that the board does. But you're also, if you could quietly make an exit, that's fine. But we welcome you to stay for the remainder of the meeting. Okay? So tonight, I'll read the employment statement. That the employment of all individuals who are being recommended for certified or classified positions on this agenda are subject to the successful completion of requirements of revised code, board policy, and all appropriate credentials for the district. The treasurer will then be authorized to pay these individuals in accordance with the currently effective salary schedule or rate of pay unless otherwise noted. So first of all, this evening under certified personnel, we have 6 items for you tonight. It's recommended that Destin Heasley be granted a supplemental contract for the marine biology trip at the full rate effective for the 21-22 school year. Also recommended that Melissa Rohrig, Hoover High School biology teacher, be paid a $862 stipend to attend the Project Lead the Way core training on July 26th through August 6th of this past year, and stipend be paid from fiscal 22 Perkins funds. It's recommended the board resolution 8421, certified personnel item H, and district and resident educator mentors be amended to change Jen Ellis from up to 40 hours to up to 10 hours. Item D, it's recommended that Sarah Faulkner and Brianna Kinsley, North Canton employees, and Frank Sowers, a current certified substitute, be approved as home instructors for the 21-22 school year effective September 1st of 21, and be paid from this year's general fund. It's also recommended to approve the memorandum of understanding with North Canton Education Association pertaining to Article 11, length of school year, length of teacher workday, and teacher responsibilities, Section E, planning and preparation, to increase the current rate of pay from $15 an hour to $25 per period or hour effective September 13th of 21 through June 30th of 22, when the rate will revert to the original